Howdy, howdy. How you guys doing? What's up? How you doing, Nervardia?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm all
I'm
right.
good. I'm good.
Cool, cool.
That cool. All right. that was enthusiastic.
I'm all right. It's been a really really weird week. So for me, but it's okay. We got
I think it's been a weird week for everyone.
Yes, I think so. We got quite a few people in the chat today. Let's
Hello, hello.
see. We got Peter's here, Mr. Shadow Kitty, Susan Skeptits, Skeptits, like boobs. I see what you did there. Milking Stool's here, very stable milking stool. Brian Stevens, we got Brian in there. Banana Brains, Zeph, what's up? We've got Leo Philius, I think, H. Hemphill, Juv, Aunt Jur, and Kitty the Atheist. What's going on, guys?
And thank you for coming. Thank you for wanting to be here with us in these trying times.
Yes, I think isn't there like an old proverb that says, "May you have interesting times." That's actually a curse. I feel like we're having interesting times.
May you live in interesting times.
We live.
Hello, Nathan Jasper as well.
Oh, hey Nathan, what's up? So, if you guys noticed, we're gonna talk about this hot mess right here, because we have lots of thoughts about things that we're seeing in, you know, how do we deal with this? What exactly? What do you think? First of all, what do you think, Nervardia? Where is your brain in all this?
My brain is that I actually apologize because last week I suggested we did something fun and funny, and then this happened. So I apologize for lying to you.
It wasn't
That's
a
probably
lie.
my first one.
That's not a lie. That's not a lie at all. I think the way I see
Well,
it, it's almost like every time my phone goes off with a news alert, I'm like, "What now? What now?"
what else do we have to debunk? Um, and also, Hempel, hello. You did say hello.
Yes, yes, and Pocus Focus, what's going on? So yes.
Um,
Oh, Peter wants you to know to download the intro soon so the link doesn't expire.
I just did that actually. I just did
Okay,
that. I was
cool,
just responding.
cool.
Yes, thank you very much, mate. I do appreciate your hard work for us. You are
Peter's really cool.
very much it does do amazing things
He
for us.
does.
So thank you.
He's a magician with intros and stuff. He's made all the stuff for this show. Now, the original logo of the Atom was my friend Monty from Hannibal and Monty's Shit Show. He did the original logo for my show, but Peter kind of took it and expanded on it. So it's pretty cool. It's really nice to know creative people. So,
Yeah, yeah. No, Peter's helped me with the outros of my videos as well, and I've got a
cool.
couple of people doing the music. The intros to my videos are still depressingly me.
There's nothing wrong with that. They're you. It's almost like your little signature. It's kind of like how you do it, you
Yeah,
know?
my opening scene of me going.
It's like, give me a copyright strike, YouTube, on that. Ha!
Yeah, pretty much.
I dare you.
They can't. They, that'd be brilliant if they copyrighted my opening. I'll be like, why? How?
Oh, God. I've gotten copyright strikes for portions of videos that I'm talking, it's just me talking, and it'll say, this particular organization has claimed the rights to this section because it's a picture of Mount Everest. And I'm like, I'm Mount Everest now. That's nice.
Yeah.
So it's just
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, gonna go for it says you should never change your intro. It's the best. I keep getting told that. I've got a feeling if I did change the intro to my videos, I would probably lose subscribers, or at the very least get hate mail.
See, I got a green screen because I thought I need to get a green screen because this just, everybody's so sick of seeing this. They're like, "Don't you dare get a green screen!" And I'm like, "Oh, well, I already bought it, but all right." Let's leave this here.
Okay.
It's fine. Y'all like looking at this? Okay. So, so it's not your fault, man. Trump, it's America. What can I say? We're just a bunch of jerks living over here. Just got a horrible human in office, and he goes and gets the Rona, and we're all supposed to feel sorry for him now. And that's kind of what we're going to talk about today, because there's lots of shaming across the board on people who have thoughts and feelings about this. Hey, Titan, what's going on? Titan's here. So,
Hey,
yeah. So, what do you think? I mean, about all this? I mean, just first of all, let me just ask you: are you surprised that he's caught the Rona?
frankly, I'm surprised he didn't get it earlier.
Me too. I'm like, me too. Somebody called me a hot mess. Who called me a hot mess? Allison Farnes Metcalf. We're a hot mess at the moment. You're right. Allison's on Facebook. So, yeah, we are a hot mess in the U.S. Did someone say jerk? I'm here. I can hear you. Doorknob. What's up? So, I'm not. I thought he would get it sooner too. He's so anti-mask. He's wanting to shove light bulbs up his butt and wanting to drink Clorox. And I'm like, either he's going to off himself somehow in an incredibly interesting way, or he's going to catch it. So
I do think that he might be, if he dies from this, because he's definitely not out of the woods. He's not going to be out of the woods for at least a good couple of weeks. But if he does die for it, I would not be surprised if the people at the Darwin Awards would be like nominating him.
I mean, he did just about everything except lick toilet seats, if I'm honest. That's kind of how I feel about it. I mean, Herman Cain died from his Oklahoma rally. And then they were like, oh, it's not real. It's a Democratic hoax. And they're just like, oh, it's okay. I ain't afraid of no COVID-19. And that it's just, and I'm sitting here, and I've been so vocal, even in my own hometown, about it, offering myself as a resource, trying to give away free masks. And people are like, you've got an Antifa agenda. You got an Antifa agenda. You going to indoctrinate us. Are you even real? And I'm sitting here going, I taught your kids biology at the high school down the street. What is wrong with you? And they're like, well, we need to find out where she lives. And I'm like, okay, delete off of this Facebook group, block all the weirdos, and pretend it never happened. So Trump has done this.
Yeah. It's sort of like, the way I view it is kind of like, you see those people who go climbing 50-foot floor, go climbing ridiculously high buildings, and they jump across, and when they die, it's like, well, it's sad, but are you really like surprised that that's going to happen? Like, is that really all that surprising?
Yeah. I saw a meme going around, and it had a picture of Keanu Reeves just sitting kind of chill. And then it had a picture of him loading the gun from, like, what's that film he's in? The one where
John Wick?
Yes.
John Wick?
John Wick. So he's filling his gun and he's ready to shoot people. The first picture, the caption says, Trump caught COVID. Second picture, someone punched Rick Moranis. And he's just like, I'm like, I had the same reaction. I honestly felt that meme to my soul. Who punches Rick Moranis? Sucker punches him in the street. I want to know who you are. I'm like telling other people, like, who did what? Who is this guy? I'm going to go set him straight. Trump got COVID. Oh, okay.
Yes, pretty much.
So, I mean, did you hear that Rick Moranis got punched?
I did, yeah. And it was just a random person just walked up to him and punched him. Like, there was, for no reason. And violence like that is extraordinarily rare, actually.
Yeah, it is. It's just like
it
you
is.
suck, Rick Moranis.
Yeah, I think I did. There's an online blog called. Oh, I can't remember what it's called. But it's a lawyer blog filled with really weird lawyer laws, usually centered around the US because
We're
the
weird
US
here.
is the world apparently.
Yeah.
But this guy randomly got punched in the face on the New York subway because he looked like Shia LaBeouf. LaBeouf, however you pronounce his name. He just got punched. He just got sucker punched because he looked like Shia, whatever his last name is, the guy from. How do you pronounce his name?
Self. Yeah, he was like in Transformers, and he was in the
that
last
guy.
Indiana Jones, and he's all right.
That guy.
Yeah,
right. I don't mind him.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't punch him. I mean,
I wouldn't punch him either.
And I'm not all ragey about him getting punched as I am Rick Moranis because, Rick Moranis, who punches him? But then Trump getting COVID, you're like,
It's poetic justice.
It is. It really is. Let me see. Let's see what people in the chat are saying. Let's see.
Shia LaBeouf.
Shia LaBeouf. Iron Charioteer. Shia LaBeouf or LaBeouf? Shia LaBeouf. So that's almost French for the buff. Shia the Buff. I don't know if that's French. I don't speak French. That's okay. Amiga Nuts, how you doing? And so Susan says he's got a ton of risk factors for complications too, which does not bode well for him. Yes, he does have some comorbidities and risk factors.
Age, obesity, poor diet.
Yeah, his doctor also said his blood oxygen was in the 80s. That's kind of dropping. He did want an award. That's true, Aunt Jur. He still might get one. He's number one for me and the worst president we've ever had. I think that's awesome. Hillary Pugh, what's up? He is on high-dose steroids. He is not okay when that happens. I wouldn't think so. Yep. So, I'm trying to see. Trump is getting a lot of drugs pumped into him. That does not sound good. No, it doesn't, Iron. It doesn't sound good at all. Brian Stevens said it would be the first award he won. I think you're trying to say that he won honestly. Yeah, that would be true.
Hillary Pugh, I'm sorry if I spell your name, pronounce your name wrong. The only reason for steroids at this point is to try and stop a cytokine storm. His joyride earlier is actually a sign of a steroid-induced mania.
Ah.
Would you say that's true?
I would think so. I think he's really wanting some attention, and he's not getting it as much inside the hospital. I really liked the stage photos of him signing blank papers. I thought that was a nice touch. I saw a tweet going around, and it was that Brian Turpin, I think is his name, Turpin. He does the parody of, he's like, pretends to be a MAGA dude, and he's like, I don't think so. That guy. He started,
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I love that guy.
He's hilarious. I live down the street from people like that. That's what I'm just like. I can just look outside and they're right there. So it's hilarious. And so he had posted, a picture of Trump writing his name on the paper in the hospital, and he posted the lyrics to "Stand" from Eminem. I say, I'm writing you this letter. I put my name, my phone number, my pager at the bottom. It's just like, I don't know if you got him. Must have been a problem at the post office or something.
So fun. I love that man on every level of my soul.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Aunt Jur says Rick Moranis thing was a surprise. Trump was not. True. That is true.
And I think that's probably why people are more upset about the Rick Moranis thing, is because when something happens that's shocking, you're like, it's the flight and fight. But when Trump came in, it's like, it's not like we didn't all see that 1,000 kilometers away.
Oh my gosh. Nathan says, well, he did shrink the kids. That's true, but he brought them back again. They got better.
They did.
They got better. Let's see. How dare they? Dark Helmet is not going to be happy. happy. What's his name? Asshole. What's his name? Asshole. I'm surrounded by assholes. One of the best lines from Spaceballs. Oh my
I love
gosh.
that movie. Or when they're combing the desert and they have like this giant comb.
Yes. Well, nothing here. Oh, it's Brent Terhune. Thank you. Brent Terhune. Brent. Okay, I appreciate that, Leophilus. What on flat Earth? Eventually, it's going to turn concave. I just know it. That gravity from the ends is going to pull it down. And then it's going to be attracted to each other. I just know it. Oh my gosh. It's crazy. He hasn't been tweeting, so he must be really out of it. This is true.
Yeah. Well, at least he can't start wars right now.
I know. So the thing that's really been bugging me about a lot of this, I've been seeing people on Twitter, prominent folks, that'll say, no, don't wish ill on him, don't celebrate this, don't be happy that he's sick, and, don't, have these feelings. We need to be the better person. What are your thoughts on that before I jump in?
Well, my thoughts are this is the emotion stopping techniques, which is never good, because stopping the way you feel and the way you think
Right.
is actually a cult thing, and being told that you choose to be upset or you choose to be happy or is utter bullshit and is not healthy. I think we need to express ourselves in a way that doesn't make us seem like absolute twats, but you should be able to feel these emotions, considering that he is directly responsible. I'll give him 1,000 people, or 10, maybe 10, because it's like 375 million people in the US. I'll give him 10,000 people that he was not directly responsible for the death, or indirectly responsible for their death, not directly, indirect. Right. Which still means there's probably still about 230,000 people that he's killed.
Yeah, pretty close.
Yeah, I do not trust the official number that's come out.
Yeah.
From the CDC. I do not trust that, because as soon as the White House took over COVID death reportings, the number of daily deaths plummeted and has stayed low since then. Yeah. So I would not be surprised if there's been more than 240,000 people that have been killed from COVID due to Trump's inaction.
Yeah. I agree.
I do genuinely think that Trump's, how often have you heard of people going, vengeance is fine? This is vengeance. The feeling that people are feeling of he's being a real, his downplaying of the pandemic, his decisions surrounding containing the pandemic, the fact he didn't lead and he's rallying all the time in heavily infected areas. Right. He's killed people. He's killed people. And he's also brought the economy to its knees. Millions of people are out of work. Millions of people have been infected. Millions of people have lost their healthcare. People are being thrown out onto the streets, becoming homeless. And him and the GOP have done literally nothing to stop that. In fact, they've gone out of their way to make it worse. You have every right to be happy about this, because he is getting some of the shit back onto him. He's getting that karma, and being happy because somebody got karma is completely okay. I mean, I don't believe in karma, but that's probably the best analogy word for it. Yeah. And the fact that people are saying, no, 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 you shouldn't wish bad things. If my loved ones, if my mum or my brother or my sister or my aunt or my uncle or whoever, someone who I genuinely loved got infected because somebody in a MAGA hat came up and coughed in their face, and then within 2 weeks they ended up dying from COVID-19, Trump has responsibility on that, and
Right.
I would be very, very happy that he got it.
Right.
I mean, thankfully, I haven't had anybody that I know personally that has died. I have not had anyone that I know in my real life that's close to me that has actually contracted COVID-19, because my government did the right things, shut us down, made us do all of the important things.
Right.
There was that outbreak that outbreak in Victoria where thousands of people were dying, and the people in New Zealand, like the people who ran New Zealand, politicians resigned.
Right.
Politicians went, I fucked up, we fucked up. There was an inquiry, people resigned. There was repercussions. And you're not seeing that in America.
No. It's really it's very frustrating because I've also seen people say, well, you didn't know it was going to be this bad with Trump in office. I'm like, yeah, I kind of did. He's an alleged sexual assailant. Okay. He is horrible at business. He's bankrupted businesses. He's stolen money from children's charities to the point he's not legally allowed to own another one. He's racist, openly racist, and has even been brought up on his racist practices for housing. And he's bigoted and a narcissist. I mean, why would anybody think that, oh, he's not going to be so bad as that? And when he was elected, he was in a fully GOP controlled Congress, which we haven't seen that in an extremely long time. So Republicans had the majority in the Senate as well as the House of Representatives. They don't have it in the House of Representatives now. So it took 3 years to get him impeached, because the House wasn't going to do it until they became Democratic. And then once we flipped the House, they were able to impeach him. So what did the Senate do? The Senate, oh, hey, we're not even going to really have a trial, so we're just going to throw it out, which I wasn't expecting that. But I was expecting, would he be able to handle a pandemic? No. I didn't know he'd have one, but I didn't think he'd be able to. I didn't think he'd be able to do any of his job without being a puppet for the GOP. I figured he'd try to undo everything Obama did. I figured he'd try to do all of these awful things, particularly for the environment. But it's like, it's making me mad because I see these people who are saying, we have to be the better person and wish him and his wife well. I'm like, I don't have to do that. And it doesn't make me a bad person if I don't. I mean, the way I see it, if you've got a domestic abuser, this is the best analogy I can come up with in my head. You have a domestic abuser who beats his wife and kids daily, manages to fall down the stairs because he's running with a hammer, ready to go beat his wife and kids again, and he falls down the stairs and ends up in the hospital because he lands on his hammer or whatever and gets injured. I'm not going to feel sorry for him. I'm not going to do it. The wife and kids get an opportunity to have a breather away from this violent human being that has destroyed their lives. So I don't, and this is of his own making on top of that. This is his own making. So it makes me really, really irritated when I see people go, well, we can't do this because then you're just like him. I haven't killed over 200,000 people, okay? I haven't taken away people's health care. I haven't rolled back EPA regulations. I haven't just given everybody $2,000 for over the course of 6 months, hoping they can live on that. I haven't done any of that. I haven't ripped off, blue collar people by not paying my bills. I didn't dodge my taxes. I haven't done any of this. I haven't incited violence and tried to incite race wars. I haven't gassed my own people. So no, we're not going to say I'm just as bad as Trump by going, yeah, I'm not going to wish him well and say, hope you get better. I am completely indifferent to the fact that he's caught it. I'm not celebrating it. I'm not sad about it. I honestly just thought it would have happened sooner. But I have no sympathy at all for him.
I had a really interesting. I was watching Jimmy Snow. He actually talks about how are we supposed to feel about this, and he talks about some people are going to feel happy about this, and as I mentioned, like if somebody comes into your house and murders 4 of your family members, and then they end up getting killed in a car accident, are you expected to feel bad for them?
Like, I mean, for real.
And
how many people were sad that Charles Manson died? Or Ted Bundy? He killed lots of more people than what he was given credit for. Are we really sad? I mean, I don't necessarily endorse the death penalty. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. My brain is everywhere, man. It's been a week. So I don't necessarily endorse that, because I would really like us to study people like that longer to try to find out what's going on, and it actually tends to cost less than putting people on death row to give them life. But would I would I go over to the victims, the parents of the girls that were killed by Ted Bundy and go, don't you feel bad that he was, how dare you not feel sad for this man? I mean, you should go and wish his mother well, and say, I'm so glad you're I really hope that his mother, oh God, that's a whole separate conversation. But, anyway, but it's just like,
what was that? Sorry?
His mother, Ted Bundy's mother, man, that's a whole separate conversation. Golly, that woman.
Okay.
Never mind.
Can you give me some context, though? Because it's ringing bells, but I'm not remembering.
Okay, so Ted Bundy was brought to trial in the late 70s, I think it was late 70s, because he massacred. Oh, goodness. You okay? That's all right.
It's the beginning of spring. Everything's making me decide to not live.
That's okay. So he was responsible for the massacre of a sorority house. He went in, brutally raped and murdered girls with baseball bats. He bit into them with, but he was also responsible for killing children. And he did this across several states. It wasn't just one state. And he had a girlfriend who he was going to marry, and he used to watch her kid. And so I've seen all of the tapes as far as he was the first trial in America where they brought news cameras in and filmed the whole trial. And so he wanted that attention. He wanted that attention for himself, and he actually became his own lawyer. He went to Yale for a little while, was going to law school, and his idea was he felt he was really highly successful. He was a relatively attractive guy, drove a BMW. It's like American Psycho kind of stuff. You know what I mean? So he felt that he had mastered life. Now he wanted to see if he could master death, like treating killing people as a form of an art. And so he would use hacksaws and cut body parts off of girls. It was pretty awful. And they managed to get him the electric chair or death sentence in one state, and then they had to hold a trial for a second one just to make certain if one of those appealed, and it was for a completely separate case of a little girl that he killed. And so this was, I believe, in Florida and in Colorado. So he actually escaped from the police twice because he used his charm on them, and they gave him special privileges. Hey, you can sit over here in this office and study for your case. It's all right. And so he's this cute white man that's charming and managed to wiggle his way out of situations. If you watch any of those documentaries, you will see white male privilege throughout the entire freaking thing, the way that they address him. And even at the end, the judge, as he's sentencing him to death, looks at him and goes, you know what? I really feel sad for you. I would have liked to have had you opposite me, get, in a trial, and I wish you well. I don't wish any ill will on you. And, I just, God bless. And I'm sitting here going, how freaking dare you? I was screaming at my TV watching this. And this is like legit tapes from the news when they were filming this. I'm like, how dare you tell this man who's murdered probably 50 women that I don't wish you ill. I wish you well. I wish you had chose another path, young man, because you're smart. And I'm sitting here going, if I was a mother of one of them women in that court, they would have had to drag me out of there. I ain't even gonna lie, because I would have been in contempt or something, and then throw me in jail for a few days. I'm like, totally worth it.
So what was it about? What did his mother say? His mother said something, or
gosh, his mother. If you want to talk about somebody completely disconnected from reality, man, when they came over to tell her about the stuff, some of the psychologists and psychiatrists that had spent a lot of time, studying him while he was on death row, they have their own tapes, and he was playing on, and he played for his mother. Yet he actually did these things because he was trying to get them to appeal his sentence so he could tell them where the rest of the bodies were. She just sat there and she said, okay, how would you guys like some cake and ice cream? And then she just got up and got some ice cream, and they just all sat at the table like they just told her, yeah, your son's guilty. He killed all these women. Here he is on tape saying it. And she's just like, would you guys like some ice cream? It's a great day for ice cream. Just completely disconnect.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, the person you just found out, the person you gave birth to has just murdered 50 people. Like, I'd be like, let's do something normal.
Fair enough. That's certainly fair. And
I mean, I've heard of lots of people. I've heard of people who've been in serious car accidents, and I've actually been in a serious car accident. And they go off and do something normal, like they have a serious car accident, so they start doing their hair. When I had a serious car accident, I sat down and started knitting. So I mean,
that makes sense.
Kind of makes sense when something's really severe and you just can't quite process it.
Yeah.
Just simply going and getting someone some cake and ice cream and a coffee. It's normal. Yeah. It's okay. Life is okay.
Yeah. No, I understand that. When she was, when they asked her questions at the trial, she was coming out. She goes, he's such a good boy. He's such a good boy. And, he was really big in the church. He had church people testifying for him about what a great guy he is. And so he had several personas that he put on for different people. And it was a show. And so I'm like, I'm not knocking his mom, but I'm just saying the amount of disconnect there. I mean, he had to have really put on a show for her. And that's kind of what narcissists
and that's really
do.
That's common with narcissists and psychopaths and sociopaths too. They're chameleons. So, and that's literally what Trump is. I mean, I'm not a sociologist, I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a psychiatrist. I have never spoken a word person to person in my life with Donald Trump.
Me either.
So I can't say it, but there's enough people out there going that are genuine.
I mean, the trend is there. I mean, I'm a scientist, and I'm looking at the trend and the patterns, and that's what I see. But most people, that's what our brains try to do. We just got to make certain there's causation, not just correlation. But it's all there, and it's really hard to not call it that. He has those tendencies, whether or not he actually suffers it, but he has those tendencies. Oh goodness, we got people talking a lot in the chat. Let me catch up. Hillary Pugh says, I am thrilled that he is sick. That's okay, Hillary.
You can feel it. You can feel it.
Amiga Nut says, I want him healthy so he can go to jail. Fair enough.
Yeah. My thing is that I'm okay, I don't want to sound callous, but there is reasons behind this. I really want him to get hit hard by it. I mean, quite hard, in almost to the point of me needing to be ventilated hard.
Yeah.
But I want him to recover. The reason why I want him to get hit hard is not because I wish him to get sick and suffer badly from it. Mm-hmm. I want him to get hit hard so he actually starts paying attention to it and showing this is actually a serious disease. I mean, if some people with COVID-19 get, sick for a couple of weeks and they recover, some people don't even get sick at all, but they are asymptomatic carriers. And then some people, of course, as we know, have died. I want him to recover so he'll take it more seriously. But not just that, I want him to recover so for the same reason as, was it Amiga Nuts that said it? Yeah. Said, I want him to recover so he'll go to jail.
Right.
Because he's done enough in his past, and now that he is a president of the United States, want attention to himself, there's enough connections to mob bosses and things like that, and enough connections of him doing illegal things that he will end up going to jail. Hopefully. And if he doesn't, that's a massive, massive, massive miscarriage of justice.
I agree. I agree with that. Let's see. There's a couple of just banana brain. Zaf says Trump doesn't look orange anymore, so that's a good thing, I guess. And looking pale somehow makes him look more human. Now, if only we could do something about that hair. That's where he hides the lizard skin. Peter says, I just like presidents who don't get COVID. Just saying. Oh my gosh. Oh man. Let's see.
Have you seen that meme of the COVID, like a artist rendition of COVID saying, I moved on him like a bitch?
Yes. They just let you do that when you're a celebrity. You can just grab them by the lungs. Susan says, personally, I'm not going to tell someone they can't feel what they feel, but I myself can't bring myself to actively wish death upon him. Fair enough.
Yeah.
And she doesn't fault anyone for feeling that way. Zolfner says, Trump has done great.
Okay, a little bit of a thing about Zolfner. Zolfner's a little bit of a shit stirrer, but he's actually a great guy. I'm very fond of Zolfner, but he is a bit of a shit stirrer, everyone, so just be aware.
Oh, people thought he was like seriously trolling or something.
Oh no, he's seriously trolling, but he's trolling in a good he's seriously trolling, but in a good-natured way. So he's a good guy. He's actually a really good guy, and I do like him. Yeah. So
ATT the Toy Tour. He says he's reaped what he sowed in Periscope, and Perry Pilot says the same thing as Amiga Nuts, which Trump recovers, so he can go to jail. Hello, Mediocrity Maze. What's going on? I try to say hi to people as if they hadn't said hi before.
I will say something. When I actually found out, like reading through a couple of things, and they were saying he could die, I was actually really starting to feel sorry for him and go, I kind of hope he doesn't, because once I took away the shit that he's done, I still remember he is still a human being who is loved by someone. And someone cares for him. And that's the thing that I don't want people to suffer. And even though he has caused a lot of suffering, there are people that will mourn him when he dies. People who will actually, and, for me, when people die, it's not the person who's died, it's the people surrounding them as his loved ones. The ones who love him that are going to be suffering. So
Right.
yeah, I think a lot of people forget that. I
Yeah. I
think a lot
mean,
of people.
I think it's sad that any human would suffer from this. Um,
Mm,
I'm just not at a point to where I can feel sad about it.
yeah,
I
I
don't
mean,
think I'm there. And it's not like I haven't tried. And I'm fully capable of emotions because I can't watch certain Disney films because I'll cry for weeks. So I know
I got that with Up as well. Yeah, I watched Up and I just was
I'm not
emotionally
okay.
wrecked as
I
well.
watched it once and I'm like, I will never do this again. Ever. I can't watch that film. And then the second Toy Story movie, I'm like, I'm done with Pixar. Forget it. No more Pixar. Screw you guys. I'm going home. I'll watch Studio Ghibli. I will watch Studio Ghibli, like Spirited Away, all of that stuff. My Neighbor Totoro. I love that. I will watch Studio Ghibli. It's fantastic. Has some heartwarming stuff, but it doesn't wreck me and make me not okay for weeks. So it's all right. Nathan Jasper, $5 super chat. No tears for fascists. Fair enough, Nathan. Thank you for that. My little alert box didn't pop up. Maybe it hasn't caught up yet. I have an alert box, and it might not be working because Streamlabs is nuts. Ah, so
Did
yes.
did you know that over 1 million people have died worldwide from COVID?
1 million people worldwide. That sucks. There's my alert
Yeah,
box. Other side.
and at least 200,000 of those are from a country that has 2% that has 4% of the population.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's something to consider. It's just in the United States has played a role in spreading that virus. We can't sit here and pretend that none of that happened. So let me see. I've got a whole bunch of articles. We already know, and this is something I've pulled from the CDC. Have another one.
Thank you, Kitty.
Thank you, Kitty the Atheist.
Kitty the Atheist is also amazing because they've been making and sending out free masks.
Yes,
so,
she has.
I've got 2 for me, 2 for Notcha, and then we promptly forgot to thank you online. Sorry about that, Kitty.
It's okay. Kitty says, don't watch Grave of the Fireflies then. I haven't. So I'm happily, blissfully ignorant to that. I did watch the one that Studio Ghibli did on when Japan was making the airplanes that they used for kamikaze bombing of Pearl Harbor. I did watch that. I didn't know that's what it was, and so I wasn't okay for a little while, but then I got better, so it's all right. But there you go. So thank you for that $1.99 super chat. Okay, let's see. So you can help. This pandemic has caused so much mental strain on people. Let me see if I can blow this up a bit. So, I mean, they even have infographics on how to take care of yourself. Take break from the news. My God, I got to do that all the time. I'm not even going to lie to you guys. I'm not taking care of my body like I need to. I'm going to start doing better with that this week. I'm going to get up earlier and do a little exercise. I am doing better with making time to unwind for myself. And I bug my friends to death. That's how I connect with others. I'm like, are you around? Can I talk to you? I'm going to put my head through the wall again. Focus on the facts. That's really important, particularly with the current administration in the U.S. gaslighting everyone and constantly lying.
Yes, because there was something I tweeted at you with the what was it? The doctor.
Yes.
Press release.
Oh gosh, yes. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think I have that. Let me pull that up and we can have a look at this together. Let me go back to here. You want to see what people are saying in the chat while I sort this out?
Okay, we'll have a look. Hang on, give me a minute.
All right. Woohoo.
If you want movies to avoid, Don't F with Cats is horrific. I couldn't finish watching it. It's a documentary. Oh, yes. No, I'm not going to. Where can I find Totoro? I've been looking for it.
My Neighbor Totoro. I think you can only get it on DVD. I love My Neighbor Totoro. I got it on Amazon a long time ago, and it was part of a set. I don't. You should be able to find it though. You should be able to find it on Amazon if at all possible. Totoro.
Mr. Shadow Kitty. Mr. Shadow Kitty actually made a really, really good point. I think most people can relate to this. I spent 5 months of turning into a chunk, a monk, and a drunk.
I think so. I think I can relate to that.
I definitely can relate to that. I'm afraid of I'm afraid of my scales.
I have not been on one since probably February, and I don't want to get on one because
for the same reason.
Yes. And I'm like, since I'm at home and I'm working all the time, but I'm working at home and I'm not running around the campus going up and down stairs. I'll go to the campus now to teach a lab, and I'll take the stairs, and I think I'm going to die. And used to, I would be up and down the stairs just scooting around, and I'm just like, oh, this is cool. Carrying stuff from the lab, and now I'm like, oh my God. And then I have to go in the hall and take off my mask and go, I can't sit without my mask. And I'll put it back on. Walking in, okay, guys. It's a day.
I used to be like able to do 5 minutes on the exercise bike. I'd be lucky to do 2 before I'm like, yeah, I want to give up.
And for the record, Robert Reed has been my trainer. Remote
long
trainer.
Distance.
Yeah, he's been my remote trainer. We had a session this week, but I had to pick up 2 classes because one of my colleagues has had some unforeseen things happen, and they're okay, but they're just out for the rest of this semester. They'll be back next semester. But so now I'm just like, now I have all this extra work, which I'm not complaining about. I love what I do, but I had to cancel my appointment with Robert, and Robert, I would be sending him my data for how I'm working out and stuff, and he'd be like, okay, this is good. How's that weightlifting going? I'm like, it's not, but I will get there. I will get there. But I'm walking on the treadmill while I'm emailing people. Is that okay? He's like, no, any work is good work. It's all right. But anyway, yes. Okay.
Banana Brains posted, said, I already posted this in the chat, but I think people tend to be unable to grasp 200,000 Americans. To put into perspective, that's about 3.5 Vietnam Wars or about 70 9/11s.
Yep, and man, boy, everybody was upset about 9/11. All right, here is David Mack. I think he's part of BuzzFeed. This is a tweet. He says, Trump's doctor says he didn't admit yesterday that Trump was put on oxygen because he was trying to be publicly upbeat. Well, that's why Trump hid coronavirus from us, for the same freaking reason. So what do you want to bet he's being whispered to Trump? Just say you're trying to be upbeat. It's okay. And he said, I didn't want to give any information that might steer the illness in another direction. Let's look at this.
Because that's ridiculous. But someone did actually, in those comments, says, I didn't want to give away any information that might steer the illness in another direction. Are they trying to gaslight a virus? I
guess.
Like,
Or,
must be.
It's the Democrats. We infected him on purpose, right? I'm technically not Democrat. I am liberal, but I'm not a part of any party. But it's fine. So here, let me see if I can turn this up. This is up all the way. I'm gonna mute myself.
The president had been administered oxygen.
It's a good question.
Thank you.
I was trying to reflect the upbeat attitude that the team, the president, that his course of illness has had. I didn't want to give any information that might.
I knew it! The Force is real. Where's my lightsaber? I have one. Will it work now? Can I will the virus out of other people?
Like John Edwards it up.
He blocked me on Twitter, Merro.
John Edwards.
Yes. Okay. I think we're back, kind of. I don't know what's going on. That was weird. Oh boy. I don't know what it is, but sometimes it just drops on me, and it's been doing that lately. Are we back yet? Do you guys see me? Are we back? Can you guys see me? I need to see where we are. Yay! Awesome. So I guess Merro has to come back to us. Oh, sorry. Y'all don't want to see that. Let me go back to... I don't know what's going on, why it does that. So she'll be back in a minute. Let me send her a message. On Twitter. Hopefully she'll get to jump back in. Alright. I'm gonna refresh StreamYards and make certain we okay there. Ah! I'm gonna put the hold screen up so you guys don't see all that. Ah, wrong one.
It's time for...
Alrighty. Trying again. Alright. Here we go. And
hey.
I don't know what happened. For whatever reason, my internet just went, yeah, I'm done. It's got to be the
That's fair.
Trumpsters.
Must be.
Okay. But people are up, sorry. People are back now. Let me move this over here. They say we're back, so everything's fine. Everything's all right. Cool beans. Alrighty. How did Mel get a picture of me when I was shaved? I'm confused, or not. The internet caught COVID-19. Hey, Dinah, I didn't see you before. How you doing? Okay, so we were watching this incredibly ridiculous video of this Trump doctor who thinks you can use the Force for, like, illnesses. And I'm overwhelmed by that. I think.
Yeah, that's worked so well for everyone who's had cancer.
Oh, God. Anyway, I had mentioned before that I have stuff and things that I found. I found a lot of different information. I was going through and trying to find, okay, how do we, what are the psychological aspects of having sympathy for a known abuser? And it's hard and difficult. There are some people who have sympathy for their abusers, and that tends to be a Stockholm syndrome type of thing. And then there are people who have sympathy for their abusers. We see that in cult behavior, as you had mentioned, right? And then there are people like me. I'm just like, and then I'm like, I have no, I just don't feel a thing about it. And then you have people that are happy that he's sick. And I think all of those feelings are valid and okay while people are processing these life-altering situations that they're going through, you know?
Yeah, and as I mentioned earlier, there's nothing wrong with feeling your feelings. Like, there's a reason why you have an emotional reaction to things.
Yeah.
And that idea of you have to be happy for someone, it's the same as you have to forgive this person who's hurt you. It's actually really quite a damaging thing. You should never have to forgive someone. If you're not ready to forgive, then don't.
Right. Hey, Ox PMA. Didn't see you. Yeah, Kitty, we were chatting about that in that Discord. About how, some people are really happy about it, and that's okay. People are going to cope in different ways, and that doesn't make them terrible people when they're trying to cope. There are destructive ways to cope, but it's not my position to tell another person how they should feel about a thing. And I still, I'm very public about this. I still go to therapy once or twice a month just to deal with my own past traumas, because a lot of it has to do with horrible people on the internet. I have an internet stalker, and I have a growing presence on the internet, and trying to cope with that, with some of the vitriol that I get. Is it that guy? Is it another person who wants to hurt me? They don't wear signs, guys. They really don't. And so I go to therapy to help me cope with that. And also, therapy is an education. I don't think people understand how incredible therapists are at teaching you about other people.
Yes.
Even if you think, oh, well, I'm not sick, and okay, I don't need to go to a therapist. Man, go to a therapist and learn about other people. And it makes you, understand a bit better the people around you. It helps you be able to cope with the things that other people are going through. I have crippling anxiety, so my brain is telling me all the time what a loser I am. And that my friends hate me, and that I'm doing everything wrong. But that also makes me a perfectionist, so I have to do everything correctly. And if I mess up, I'm getting better with messing up and going, okay, you know what, I messed up. That's just a part of who I am, and it's cute. So I rationalize it somewhere in my head. Well, look cute when you screwed up that time. It's fine. So if I can rationalize it somehow, then it's okay. But it's like, I don't think people understand that when you're dealing with your stuff and how you cope, there's different ways to do that. And even if it's self-destructive at times, if you feel like it's becoming self-destructive, then go see a therapist. Go talk a little bit. I live in a town where they have free therapy for grief therapy. So if you're a person who is having a hard time with COVID, there are a lot of support groups, and it just feels good to sit there and say, God, this sucks. And people go, yes, it is. It sucks a lot. And, it's awesome that you're sitting here still breathing, doing the best you can. That's amazing. That feels good,
Some of the best things that have ever been told to me has been by a therapist. One of the ones is, if anyone insults you, 90% of the time, they're actually talking about themselves. Yeah. So that was just one of the things that really made me go, well, that makes sense.
It does.
So, yeah.
It does make sense.
It does make sense, because how often have you insulted someone going, no, I'm talking about myself?
And we tend to be really awful to ourselves anyway.
Yeah.
If my brain, if I had a friend who talked to me the way that my brain talks to me, would I be friends with them very long? So that's why I'm like, I got to be kind to myself. I'm doing the best that I can. I'm in a constant state of imposter syndrome.
Oh, yes, I know that feeling.
I'm like, teaching college chemistry. I'm like, how'd I get here? Like, you're doing a great job. Am I though? Yes, you're doing great. You know, and since I'm a perfectionist, I go well above, way and beyond probably what I need to do just to be certain I'm doing enough. And it's like way too much. And then I'm like, oh, you mean I don't have to do this? Like, okay. And then other people are like, you're making us look bad.
Well, do my job.
Like, I can't win, guys. I can't win. So, but it's just, oh my gosh. But it's just, it makes me crazy because then when you encounter people like Trump who don't do anything. And yeah, he went to Wharton, but his professors say he was stupid. So it's just, you can't even get a professor to back you at an Ivy League school. And then there was like a donation made by his parents to the school. It's undisclosed how much they donated. And I'm just like, I have had to work for everything I've ever gotten. I have it's like my grandfather I don't know if he's still a Trump supporter or not. I've kind of disconnected a bit because some of the stuff, you know what I mean? And, you know, my grandparents are from a different time. I get that. But it's like my grandmother looks at me and says, I don't know how you're able to just do this. Yeah. She doesn't she's never had a job. And my grandfather is like Trump supporter. Well, you know, he graduated the top of when he went to military school a little bit that time, but his professors at Wharton say he's stupid and his parents donated money there. And then my grandpa looks at me and I'm like, he's not a good president, Grandpa. Well, you know, he's this. I'm like, I have more degrees than he does. How about we listen to me? So, he's not a good president. So, it's crazy. It's crazy. And so I feel like where I live and knowing that I have neighbors that are probably going to get this disease and die, having the old man in the freaking truck with the handicap sticker flipping me off because I'm wearing a mask at the post office. And then, you know, me offering to give masks to like my community for free, reusable ones. I'm like, here we go. Knowing that all of that was caused by Trump. It's really hard for me to feel sorry for him. Because that.
Did we end up talking about how the Scientific American actually endorsed Biden?
We haven't.
Did we end up? No, I don't think we did.
We have not.
Because the fact that the Scientific American has actually endorsed Biden kind of shows you, like, there was a 170-something year long publication.
Yes.
First time I've ever actually we're going to endorse Biden.
Yes.
And the backlash that they've received from people about that.
Yes.
Like, people don't tend to understand how hard scientists work to stay out of politics.
Yeah.
But when scientists are like expected to stay out of politics, but politicians use science as a political tool.
And they determine who gets money for research. So you can't stay out of politics and be a scientist now. You can't do it. I mean, where I work, after what happened with George Floyd, with all of the protests that have been going on, in addition to Trump gassing his own people, with the consistent issues that we have, there's the population that I teach, 70% are poverty line. Okay? And I'm in a state where they can get a few years of their college for free, which is good, which is really good. And so they're trying to educate more of the population. So I feel fortunate to have that going for us. But where I'm at, they've already started to institute professional training for professors on how to have more socially conscious and culturally responsive education. how do you incorporate this sort of thing that's going on? How are you going to be sensitive to the various needs of your students? And so they're already doing that. And they expect us to say, no thank you to racism and that sort of thing. So I feel like I'm pretty lucky that I can have a show like this and not be afraid of getting fired because it's talking about political things, but we're also talking about the gross lack of truth in facts in science, the misrepresentation of that. The fact people are saying racism doesn't exist. I mean, my work here helped me get the job that I have now. And so it's like, they're like, wow, you do this. I'm like, yes, I do. And I'm like, well, sometimes we swear on this show. The Saturday show, we don't swear so much, but this one we swear a bit. So I'm just letting you know. So, but it's like, you know, I can't, and if I didn't say racism exists, racism is in academia, it's in just about every facet of society. If I didn't say that, I'm going to hurt and marginalize all of the students that I'm working to try to bring out of poverty. And I can't do that. I can't just sit here and go, well, I'm not going to get political, guys. I talk about the fact that black people weren't in science. I talk about how women weren't allowed in science. I talk about how they steal data. I talk about those things because they happened. And I let people know, and you know, they'll be like, well, I'm going to go to this and I'm going to get into this school, and I'm like, I'm going to help you do that. Let me let you know, I understand a perspective from here. I'm not a black woman. I am a white woman, and I have certain privileges, and I recognize that, but I do have a different life experience than you, but here's my experience, and what can I do to help you? So, yeah, I'm not a regular standard run-of-the-mill professor person. I'll sit there and talk to you and try to help you sort out your problems, because we're in a pandemic, the world's on fire, and people are just trying to live right now. So it just, and with people being afraid of what am I going to eat, a lot of people are not going to school right now, even though it's free in where I live for the first couple of years. Even though it's free, they're afraid because they're like, am I going to get the virus if I go to school? That's one thing. Another thing, how am I going to eat next week? Do I have a place to live next month? So there's other pressing things that we as professors and scientists need to be sensitive to, because what's the point in doing science if I'm gesturing everywhere?
Yeah. And it's also really important to remember that if you're having a shit time, even if you feel that you are luckier than other people, you're still allowed to feel like you're having a shit time because you're having a shit time. Make sure you validate your thoughts and your feelings and just go, where is this coming from? Ignoring them or going, you know, I can't complain because X, Y, Z, does not actually address the reason why you're feeling like shit.
Right.
And so that's something that really people need to remember as well. Yeah.
I think so. It really just comes down to trying to understand what other people are going through. And also,
a little bit of compassion, a little bit of empathy.
Yeah. And I'm still trying to find empathy for Trump. It's not like this isn't an active thing that I'm trying to do. I just really, it's like, again, the domestic abuser fell down the stairs on the way to beat the wife and kids again.
Yeah, it's not like he's a terrible human being. Let's not beat around the bush. He's a terrible human being.
He is a terrible human being.
But, you know, if you don't feel bad, then, you know, that doesn't make you a terrible human being either.
No.
It just means that you're a person who's, you know, schadenfreude. It's a thing. It literally translates into shameful happiness because you're being happy in other people's, misery. But, Schadenfreude is a thing.
Yeah.
Like, couldn't have happened to a worse person.
It's, like, and it's ironic, but not really. You're like, well, it kind of saw this coming. And then, and it doesn't make me as bad as him for me to go, okay, I just don't feel anything for that.
Because don't forget, he mocked Hillary when she came down with pneumonia. He mocked a reporter with a disability.
Yeah.
He called one of his one of the Latina beauty queens. She gained weight. I think she got pregnant or something and gained weight. He called her Miss Piggy. You've just got to remember that he's done significantly horrible things where, the average person would never, ever say that or do that because we're decent people. Yeah. So if you find out that person, think of the bully that was at school, the person that made your life a living hell because, everyone's got one of those people in their lives.
Right.
If you found out shit things happened to them, there's nothing wrong with you going, well, tough luck.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I think it comes down to, why would I waste energy, tears, time, feelings on somebody that was just horrible? Nathan, thank you so much for that $5 super chat. Don't forget how glib Trump was when McCain died. Yes, and he's like, I'm a fan of soldiers who don't get caught. McCain spent 5 years as a POW,
and he had an option to be released, but he let his other soldiers go first.
Right. And I don't necessarily agree with a lot of the different policies that he had, but I recognize his sacrifice in that. And the fact that
coming from the person who never went to war.
Bone spurs. Oh, and a big old chunk of my family have served in World War II, Vietnam, the Korean War. In addition to that, the war in Kuwait, Operation Enduring Freedom. So I have family that have been involved in multiple wars, have won medals from the president, in addition to serving under vice presidents, and he calls them losers. And it just blows my freaking mind. It just, he has no bottom. There's no, he can go
just keep
lower.
going and going, and
it's just like, what are you gonna do now? You're gonna just start. I'm just waiting on him to attack nuns and children. Well, I mean, he already kind of does. He has them in cages.
Well, he's already done children.
Yeah. And then hysterectomies on women. I mean, he's literally a criminal who has done crimes against humanity.
Yeah, he's broken the Geneva Convention. If America was, in the Middle East, America would be invading.
Yes, they would.
The UN would be stepping in.
I feel like you need to go back and watch the film Team America: World Police now.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
Years ago, I can't remember it very well,
it's
I remember it was
that show. That one.
America, fuck yeah!
Coming again to save the motherfucking day, yeah! Terrorist, your game is through.
And they used a black cat as a panther, and the forest was actually weed. It was marijuana. I remember bits and pieces. I remember it was very, very funny. And they had a 20-minute long marionette sex scene.
Oh, and if you get the director's cut, it gets really gross. Oh my goodness. I do have to say, one of my favorite monologues from that is the ass, dicks, and pussies monologue. If you have to go back and Look that up. It's like America are basically dicks. And then you've got like certain countries that are pussies and certain countries that are asses, and you know, the asses just shit on everyone, and the only thing that you can do to fucking ass is with a dick. It's okay, so I dropped a lot of nasty words then. I don't really do that, but y'all can look that up. Team America World Police. Oh my goodness. Okay. Amiga Nut says it's okay to not feel empathy for Don. He's a malignant, narcissistic sociopath who has no empathy feelings for anyone. He just uses people and discards them. They're just things to him. See, that's the thing that I think is probably going to come out on the other end of this. I don't know that him getting sick is going to change his mentality whatsoever. I don't think he cares. I don't think he cares.
Yeah, I don't think he does. No, actually, he doesn't. He doesn't.
And he's in his 70s. Is he going to learn now?
No, he's not.
He's not.
No.
That's kind of where I'm at. I'm like, he's in his mid-70s. He's not going to learn. He's going to get like Nathan Jasper. Dick's Rule. Richards. Guy's named Richard Rule. Can you imagine? And so there are people like saying Karen is now, it's a slur. Well, what about everybody named Richard? You know? And we talk about dicks.
Actually, to be honest, there was a politician in Australia called Richard Face.
That poor man.
Yes. And there's I think a car repairer or something around where I am. His name is Mike Hunt.
Mike Hunt. I think I've heard of that guy. $5 from
I've met several of them.
Here's for the annoying chat with opposition. I'll sign out now from Zolfner. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Oh my gosh. I was going to have, let's see. I was going to talk more about gaslighting and all that, but I don't know. I think we all pretty much understand what that is now. Does everybody clear on what gaslighting is?
I am pretty much. It's basically behaving in a way to make a person that you're gaslighting to doubt their own reality.
I have to say, I feel like I take crazy pills every day living in this country. I'm not even. I
take crazy pills just to go on Twitter to understand how your country works. That's all.
I get it. I really get it, and I'm in the throes of it pretty deeply. So it's like Mike Hawk is really great. This is Nathan Jasper.
Kitty the Atheist says that there's a NASCAR driver named Dick Trickle.
You should go to the doctor about that.
Probably.
Isn't that gonorrhea? They call that the drip.
The clap.
The clap. Oh, okay.
Oh no, that's chlamydia. No, chlamydia is the clap.
The clap. Okay, and then gonorrhea is the drip. You know how
I haven't heard that one before.
Oh gosh, do you know how they used to treat gonorrhea in guys?
Do I want to know?
Guys or people that have a penis. You might not want to hear this next part.
Mm-hmm.
So what they used to do is anytime a person with a penis had gonorrhea, because the infection would be up inside the shaft, they would have them come into the doctor's office. And it's kind of like popping a zit. So while they have them take a deep breath and while they don't realize it, they take like a mallet and they hit the penis. And it shoots the infection out the other side. That's how they used to do it. Nowadays, I think they inject some antibiotics up in there. But I know this from military dudes that I've talked to who were stationed in Korea and had unprotected sex with some of the ladies they call juicies there. they have women who like get you to buy drinks for them and then have sex with them and stuff. And so Perry Pilot, it's always fun, yes, to get your penis banged on with a mallet and pop it like it says. They don't have YouTube videos like that, guys.
And for that I am grateful.
I wonder. I hear that Trump has a micro penis. How would they treat him if he had gonorrhea? They would have to get a microscope, or at least, what are those called? Magnifying glass, and try to find it.
Ox PMA goes, ouch, my buddies just shot up past my collarbone when she did that. Yeah.
Oh, goodness. Penis hammer. Me next, says Doorknob Head. Penis.
I used to work in CSSD, which is the sterilizing department, and they had this instrument called the otis urethrotome. Mm-hmm. So this is for dilation, and they'd sedate the person for obvious reasons. They would put this thing up the guy's urethra, which is where everything else comes out, and then they would open it up so it kind of like a shark fin, like a fin that would come up. So they would like open it and then they would rip it out, and the person, even under anesthetic, would go
oh gosh.
Yeah, when I was told that, I was like,
Okay. So Dynacat Loves Me says, I don't think... Okay, so gonorrhea is called the clap, not the drip.
Yeah.
So that was correct.
Okay.
And the reason why they called it the clap is because it involved clapping both sides of the penis at the same time in order to attempt to push the pus and discharge from the penis. So I happened to find that in a couple of places. The clap gonorrhea. There's a picture image on medicinenet.com. I don't know if I can put that up.
No, I wouldn't. So what? So gonorrhea. If gonorrhea is the clap, what's chlamydia? Is that the clap as well? Or? No, it wouldn't be.
Chlamydia is probably the drip then. I don't know. Maybe it's called. Oh, I'm looking at these pictures. You can get it on your hands too, guys. Oh, that's syphilis. But you can get the clap on your hands as well. And your feet.
Well, when you clap, like, oh yeah.
If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. Woo, woo.
Clap.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Okay, on that cheerful note, do you want to talk about frozen poo and knives?
Frozen poo and knives?
Yeah.
I missed something.
The freaking, what's it called? Ig Nobel Prize was awarded the week before last.
Tell us about that. Tell us about that.
So I did a video on that. I released it on Sunday. Please go watch it. It's not doing very well. Anyway, so if you don't know what the Ig Nobel Prize is, it's basically a spoof science prize, which is awarded to research that makes you laugh and then makes you think. And I was able to watch it live when they were streaming it, and it was very funny. So the first award was the Acoustics Prize, where they put a alligator in a airtight chamber filled with heliox, so helium, to figure out when they bellow if they have a increased pitch, and that kind of tells them how it how the vocal cords, the vocals, the formats in the
How they respond.
How they respond and how they work.
Yes.
So they found out that that crocodilians have similar. Oh yeah, I saw you. I think I saw Titan Uranus said I saw you there. Yeah, I saw you, and I saw someone else as well. I can't remember who it was.
Yeah.
And anyway, so they did the acoustic award just to try and figure out about how the vocal cords work in crocodilians. The second one, I think, was the economics prize.
Hold on a second.
Hang on.
I gotta say something. So I've pulled this up. I've pulled up the website. What's going on with this guy and his mask?
Which one?
The one right here. On where the gray mask to the right.
Oh, okay. So that was from a couple of years ago. That woman designed a bra that will work also as a face mask in the event of needing like emergencies. So she.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I get it. So yeah, here's the list of winners. That you had the acoustics prize, a Chinese alligator in heliox, formant frequencies in a crocodilian. Is there a video for that?
Yeah, it's on my it's on YouTube. You can watch it on YouTube.
Okay.
And it goes for about an hour and a half or something like that, and like they've got a god awful musical as well. Like it was just terrible, and they knew it. So but it was great. It was good. I had lots of fun. I'm just trying to. They've also got a hair, luxuriant flowing hair club for scientists. So I think maybe you should put your name in.
I could try that.
I think you should. I definitely think you should. Hang on, I'm just trying to find.
I think
not the best. Sorry, you go.
Oh no, I was just gonna say. I think I found the video of the crocodile with helium. What he sounds like. I think I found that. So. I really want to hear that because I haven't heard that, and that would be awesome. Okay, so here we go. I'll mute myself.
The Ig Nobel Acoustics Prize goes to a team that represents the countries of Austria, Sweden, Japan, the USA, and Switzerland. The prize is awarded to Stefan Reber, Takeshi Nishimura, Judith Janisch, Mark Robertson, and Tecumseh Fitch.
I think I'm going to try to jump ahead and see if we can hear the actual like the crocodile or the alligator inhaling helium. I don't hear anything yet. Maybe it's just like, hey, this is what alligators look like. Daily Mail sucks anyway.
Yeah.
I hate them.
Yeah. No, they're not the best.
There's pictures of... That's literally it. Whatever. They suck. Maybe that was at the very beginning when they did that.
Maybe.
Sound. Maybe.
So that was the acoustics prize. The psychology prize was that they figured out that eyebrows are a cue to grandiose narcissism. So if you look at people who have, like, they did a study and they had people look at faces to be able to pick if a person's a narcissist or not. So they were able to narrow it down to to the most accurate. They were able to get rid of all cues like mannerisms, clothing, that sort of stuff. And they were able to narrow it down to being able to see the eyes and the eyebrows. And they were more accurate if they had eyebrows than they were if they didn't, if it was just the eyes. They even did it inverted. So that was interesting. So people were able to more accurately see narcissists and pick narcissists just by looking at persons, by focusing on the eye region.
That's cool.
Yeah, this one was pretty funny. The Peace Prize, which went to India and Pakistan, the governments of India and Pakistan for having their diplomats surreptitiously ring each other's doorbells in the middle of the night and then run away before anyone had a chance to answer the door. So that was hilarious. The Physics Prize, I had no idea what that was, so I had to invite someone else who was a physicist to come in and explain it. And it went to Australia, and Australians want it. It's an Australian thing, but Australia, Ukraine, France, Italy, Germany, UK, and South Africa. So the Ivan Maskimov and Andrea Petoskey for determining experimentally what happens to the shape of a living earthworm when one vibrates the earthworm at high frequency. So basically what they did was they anesthetized an earthworm and put it on a subwoofer and then sort of measured how the earthworm's body worked in relation to standing waves and Faraday waves. So that was pretty funny because worms have a flexible outer skin, but basically the inside is literally just liquid. So they were just looking at how...
It's important to note that this was published in Nature.
Yeah. But they're thinking it... so the Economics Prize found that the more unequal, like the national income inequality and the average mouth-to-mouth kissing was related. So the higher the national income inequality, the more mouth-to-mouth kissing there was.
Oh, wow.
The Management Prize went to, and I apologize because I'm going to destroy every single person's name, Xiguan Ang, Mo Xiang Sheng, Yang Kangsheng, Yang Guan Sheng, and Ling Shanxi. I'm sorry to all of your Chinese audience and anybody else who is interested in China and the Chinese language for destroying that. So 5 professional hitmen in Guangxi, China, who managed a contract for a hit job or a murder performed for money in the following way. After accepting a payment to perform the murder, Ji Xiong then instead subcontracted the task to Mo Qiansheng, which then instead subcontracted the task to Yang Kangsheng, who then instead subcontracted the task to Yang Guangshen, who then instead subcontracted the task to Ling Shanxi, who subsequently enlisted hitmen receiving a smaller percentage of the fee and nobody actually performing a murder. And the funniest thing about that is they were caught because the last guy actually went up to the person who was the hit was on to say, "Hey, can you fake your own death?"
So they don't kill us too? And we can get paid. We'll give you a little bit of the money. It's fine.
Yeah.
Fine.
The Entomology Prize was awarded to Richard Vedder for collecting evidence that many entomologists or scientists who study insects are afraid of spiders, which are not insects. Which,
Yeah.
Can make sense. The Medicine Prize was awarded to people whose name I'm not even bothered
it's in
trying.
the Netherlands and Belgium. Where's Peter? Peter could say all of those names for us. That would be great.
For diagnosing a long unrecognized medical condition, misophonia, or the distress at hearing other people make chewing sounds.
I have that.
Which they actually said in... they said that in their acceptance prize that people actually can be very that can be quite disruptive to their lives. Like people have lost jobs and partners and things like that because they just can't handle the sound of people eating. So
and
that
it seems to not bother
really
them.
interesting.
Like animals don't seem to bother them. Animal chewing doesn't bother them as much as people chewing.
Interesting.
I don't like hearing people eat. I have a really hard time but it's not life disruption. It's just,
Yeah.
I'm like, I will give plastic forks to people and be like, here, because I don't want to hear the metal in their teeth. I don't want to hear the metal on the plate. I don't want to hear the scraping. I don't want to hear the chewing. I'm just like, close your freaking mouth. Use plastic forks. Here, I can wash them. Here. It's good for the environment. I'll just reuse these. It's fine. But yeah, I don't care for hearing people eat. If I'm having like a really bad day, it's worse. But I'm not that, it doesn't disrupt my life. Hey, Tesla Stranger, how you doing? Didn't say hi to you before.
The Medical Education Prize went to Jair Bolsonaro of Brazil, Boris Johnson of the United Kingdom, Narendra Modi of India, Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador of Mexico, Alexander Lukashenko of Belarus, Donald Trump of the USA, Recep Tayyip Erdogan of Turkey, Vladimir Putin of Russia, and Gurbanguly
Gurbanguly. I guess it's Gurbanguly Berdimuhamedow.
Something like that, of Turkmenistan, for using the COVID-19 viral pandemic to teach the world that politicians can have a more immediate effect on life and death than scientists and doctors can.
Oh my god.
Which was a bit of a burn.
That was a burn, wasn't it?
That was very much a burn. All of those countries actually performed significantly worse than they should have in regards to the response to COVID-19. And the last one, which is why I talked about knives and poo, is that the Materials Science Prize awarded to lots of people for showing that knives manufactured from frozen human feces do not work well. So I was like, why? And I think most people were like,
what? I think she froze. I'm still okay on this end. I think she froze. Hey, Brian Harris. How you doing? I think Nervardia froze on us.
Decided to try it themselves, and they found out that it doesn't work well, which comes to a surprise of approximately nobody. But also in that, if it did turn out that using frozen human feces is, I'm talking to myself again.
It's okay. No, you're here. We hear you.
I'm still on.
You are still on. I can hear you. We can hear you. I think you're here. It's fine. We can hear you, man. Everything's good. Can you hear me? We're here. Okay. I think she jumped out and jumped back in again. She'll have to jump back in. We are. We are still live. Isn't it lovely? I think maybe there was an internet thing, but it's okay. It's alright. She'll pop back in a second.
Sorry about that.
Coming up on almost 2 hours.
Oh gosh, these are getting longer and longer.
I know. It's okay. We have fun though. Do you have any?
Yeah, we do.
Do you have any weird tweets? I've had some interesting people message me. Let me see if I can pull that. Not message me, but basically tweet at me. It's been a hot mess on Twitter. So I'm gonna pull this up, but first we got to do our thing, our thing we have. I think I'm still sharing the screen. You probably can't hear it.
It's time for the unintelligible yet try to be scientific tweet of the week.
The nose picking though. I mean, it's like it would be exploding all the time, man. It's just like, oh my gosh. So let me see if I can find. I had posted some screenshots of various people I have muted. Apparently I gaslight people, Nervardia. I'm a gaslighter.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay. Because I have a lot of time for that. And when I'm not gaslighting people with my nefarious plans, I don't know.
You are a scientist. It's by default you have to be crazy and trying to take over the world.
I have to say, this was posted actually on one of our YouTube, my show from Saturday, and then I linked the show that we did about masks. So Harrison Williams when I talked about the sciences of viruses, I talked about all the different types of viruses and that sort of thing. Before you even read this, what's your, when you're reading this, what makes you think that he might be a Trump supporter? I'm just wondering. Before you even read the content.
I can't see it very well, but I see like a lizard, a little gecko lizard.
There's all caps. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, that too. Yeah, so not using a real all caps. What's its name?
His name is Harrison Williams.
Okay, cool.
So Harrison Williams on my show from Saturday says, "How come none of you scientists haven't made a public announcement about how ineffective the face mask that people are wearing will not prevent a virus from entering our system? Also, the stupidity of wearing a face mask in public, but soon as a person sits down at a restaurant, they take it off to eat, then put it back on when they finish."
What was that? I didn't hear you!
Surprisingly few misspellings, says Tesla Ranger. Fair enough. I know, doorknob heads and all caps. What makes you think he might be a Trump supporter? When I see all caps, I think somebody's yelling at me. So that's how I read it in my head. I'm like, okay. So,
well, maybe their caps lock is broken.
But they started out not that way, though.
Maybe it broke after that time.
Maybe. And so this was my response, not in caps at all. I'm like, Harrison Williams, I certainly understand your frustration. I choose to not eat in restaurants because of COVID-19. I wear a mask in public because there's evidence to show it reduces viral transmission. I talk more about the propaganda that's being pushed in saying masks don't work here. And then I link to our PragerU talk. It's like, oh my gosh.
I did send you. I'll send it to you again, so it's easy for you to find the chat.
Okay.
I did find an tries to be scientific yet unintelligible tweet of the week.
Awesome.
Yeah, which I was like, yeah, that's an interesting one. So if anybody does find an unintelligible yet tries to be scientific tweet of the week, send it to Mel. She loves it. She thinks it's great.
Spam my mentions.
Absolutely. Do it.
My DMs are actually open, so you can actually send me a direct message on Twitter. It's completely fine. I'm trying to pull it up. I think I have too many windows open, so I'm going to close some of these windows up in her. If I can. That's probably part of the reason. I've gotten way too way too cushy with my computer. My supervisor is completely asleep, by the way. Well, she was. She's stretching now. There she is.
Oh, yeah.
She's right there. Yep. All right, so I'm pulling this up. Let's see. So this is from Mommy Snuffles. Okay, let me pull this up so I can get this. I'm going to copy the link and pull it up here and not on TweetDeck. All right, so here we go. It will load someday. You could sing your song again, maybe. It's time for...
It's time to the unintelligible electronic.
Okay. All right, so Mommy Snuffles is... Okay, this is what Mommy Snuffles says. Bruh, divide 2020 by 666, you'll get 3.0330, which just so happens to be the number to text the Biden team. It's a game. It's sinister, run by Satanists for generations. Run by... Okay. I have so many questions.
I need to double check that. So is it?
I have my calculator. I'll get my calculator to you.
Yeah. So
Okay.
2020 divided by 666.
Yeah, I got that.
They got it right.
Bruh, I got it.
Yeah.
Yep, we got it. Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
you can't. Yep.
And that's the number? Does the decimal count in the number? Or do you have to type it? Because I got 3.0330330. So it's repeating 033 over and over and over.
Yeah.
That's a really long number to text to Biden.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it kind of just, you'll just be doing it for a very long time, like, the heat death of the universe kind of thing. So.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's like,
yeah.
Somebody's like, ooh, light version. Yes, I know, but I have dark version on my phone. I don't look at the light version on my Twitter so often. It's funny. Banana brains. Ew, lighty. Yeah, I saw that. Let's see. Oh, an Israeli inventor actually makes a mask for eating, says Dinah Cat Loves Me.
I do question those, to be honest with you, though.
I kind of do too. I don't know. Okay, so somebody corrected them on their math, which their math is actually correct. No, you get 3,003,003,003,003, period. So, no, that's not right. How do you
Well,
get
it depends,
that number?
because if they're European, 3, comma is actually the decimal point.
True. That's true. You do know you're not meant to drink paint thinner, right? And then somebody goes, "Hi, actual Satanist here. I promise you that you're definitely overthinking this." Ha ha ha! Don't be so paranoid. Oh my gosh.
Olivia P. Goes, just wait until conspiracy theorists discover they're part of a conspiracy to use conspiracy theorists to spread disinformation via conspiracy theories.
Oh my god. Oh, I just can't with some people. I don't know what this is. But I have to say, I'm really quite impressed with this video because the Steadicam action's pretty good because it's just Steadicam on his face and nowhere else.
Yeah.
I'm pretty impressed with that.
It's very good. It is very good.
I don't know what this is supposed to be. I might have nightmares.
I think he's tripping balls.
He might be.
I think he's on acid.
He might be on acid, and I'm pretty certain I'm gonna have nightmares about this tonight.
Yeah, there's something distinctly
I feel like
hypnotic about it.
It is hypnotic, and then are you feeling like you're being distracted by shiny things right now?
Yeah, mainly his head.
Oh my goodness. Shiny things. like a magpie, as they say. Oh gosh, I was wondering where the actual Satanists were going to respond, laughing their asses off, says Brian Harris. Oh my gosh, I know. Looks a bit like Scott Adams. Who's Scott Adams? I don't know who that is. FAQ says Biden is an acronym for burn it down every night. Hey, if you from my gen, the roof is on fire. We don't need no water. Let the motherfucker burn. That was, I was a small child when that came out, but we were played that at my house.
It was a good song.
It's a very good song, you know. That gif is of a Dutch guy dancing while high on MDMA, says Peter. Don't ask. Is that from Peter used to do line dance cowboy stuff. He used to be like into the country music line dance insane. Should we not ask about that too, Peter? Dilbert cartoonist Scott Adams.
Oh yeah. We did him last week, didn't we?
Yeah, it was a couple weeks ago. We forgot he existed.
Why did you have to remind us?
Oh my goodness. What do you want to talk about next week, Merro? What do you want to talk about next week? So we can kind of do that. I don't know.
Can we really need to hunt down something that's funny?
I am finding Facebook has been peddling so much beauty and weight loss stuff my way. That might be fun to just go through.
Let's do that. I think we should, because we need less depression.
Yes. Dilbert cartoonist Richard on Periscope. See, Richard is king, man. Richard's rule. Richard's rule. It's on YouTube, Scientist Mel. And no, I'm not giving you a link. Is that you dancing? Are you doing the cowboy electric slide? Because I need to see that. I need to see Peter doing the cowboy electric slide. We totally won't put it on the show. I promise.
Absolutely not. No.
I'm winking. Oh my goodness. I just made Mel swear on her stream. Yes, a little bit, but this is the sweary show. Sometimes we swear on here because we get so frustrated with the nonsense we see.
Yeah.
And you know, there are studies that show that people who swear are intelligent motherfuckers.
Yeah. Thank God I swear all the fucking time.
Oh goodness. So next week we're gonna take on some weight loss stuff because I've got so much. I got so much stuff that Facebook is trying to peddle to me. It's ridiculous. So we'll do that next week. Merro, what you got coming up on your channel?
I haven't quite decided yet, but I did watch a video by the Illuminati. She's a really good YouTuber. But when she moves into scientific stuff, because she mainly debunks or reports on companies, the things that they do, like MLMs, she does a really good job. But whenever she goes into science, she just doesn't know how, her thing. She doesn't know what she's how to research. And she did one on BIID, which is body integrity identity disorder. And anyway, when I watched it, it was very badly written, in the sense that she opened up talking about BIID as, but she used a opinion piece. She didn't talk about the possible causes, other than it's a mental illness, where there's a lot of evidence to suggest it's actually a neurological disorder.
Wow.
And there was a lot of it was badly written, badly researched, and she goes off onto a tangent onto some other things, talking about disability representation in media. So Yeah, I was watched it and I thought I need to debunk that because yeah, she does a good job when it comes to companies and lawsuits and unethical stuff in that sense. But yeah, when it comes to science, she really dropped the ball on that one, and I want to sort of defend. Well, not defend, but just debunk a lot of the things and just go, this is why she did not do a good job on it.
Well
Because
said.
BIID is very, very, very under-researched, underfunded with the research. No one really knows what it is. But one of the main things that they think it is a bit like, a little bit like people who are trans. They don't identify with their gender, their outward expression of their gender. A little bit the same with BIID, where they look at a limb and just go, this isn't mine, it is alien. And they don't tend to respond to things like psychotropic drugs, like antidepressants or anything like that. And the only way that they've been able to make themselves feel better is by removing the offending limb. Is like one of the only treatments that they have.
That's interesting.
So
also,
it's a very interesting disorder. I don't know too much about it because no one knows too much about it. But yeah, I was really disappointed in what she said because she started off talking about it, about BIID, by using an opinion piece by an amputee. And she didn't actually describe the disorder at all until right at the end. And then even then she didn't do a very good job. So yeah, I'm thinking I might debunk that.
That sounds good. And thank you, Zolfner, for $2. Studies show potty mouths are more honest. Nacha knows about that. What's going on, Nacha, is in the chat. So that sounds like that would be a really good video for you to kind of take apart.
Yeah. And as I said, she does a fantastic job when it comes to poor ethical things in regards to like what practices by companies. So she knows how to find that information. But when it comes to scientific stuff, like for example, she talked about how glyphosate causes cancer, which it doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't at all. So yeah, no, I was really disappointed in that one, to be honest with you.
That's a shame. That's a shame. Well, let's see. I'm trying to sort out. I don't know what I'm talking about next Saturday. If you have ideas on what you want me to discuss, this past Saturday, people wanted me to talk about the various viruses, particularly RNA viruses, because that's what the coronavirus is. So we had a really good discussion about the classification of viruses. Saturday at 10 a.m. Central are my live streams I do. It's my Saturday morning science. For if you're in the U.S., if you're in Australia in a not real part of the world, I can't help you. I don't know what that time that is. See, it's what time is it there now?
Midday.
Midday, so like noon?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's noon. So it would be like 1 a.m. for you, maybe.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's okay. So if you're in Australia, you can check it later. 10 a.m. Central is 1 a.m. in Australia land, which we know isn't real.
No one cares about us anyway.
Cares, it's not like y'all have like almost every single biome in one, continent. It's fine. So
that's why we don't exist.
That's why you're Neverland, where people just go and we don't ever hear about them again. So if you guys have ideas on what you want me to talk about on Saturday, hit me up on Twitter. I also have my website, ScientistMel.com. I'm finally able to put new merch on there. So I think I'm going to have a t-shirt that says, "Would you shut up, man?" Because that was Joe Biden, and all of those proceeds will go to Black Lives Matter. So I have a whole section of my shop where all of the proceeds go to nonprofit organizations for science and education and activism. You can check it out there. And do check out Nervardia. All of her links to her channel and her Patreon and her Twitter are in the description. Click on there and, check out her stuff. She's on, she co-hosts the show with me. She's a glutton for punishment. For some reason, But it's okay.
What can I say?
Yeah, what can you say? She likes to hang with me for some reason. I don't know. But it was awesome to have you guys here, and we'll see you next week. We're going to talk about all the weight loss garbage that's on the internet.
Yay!
Bye.
Bye!